Hey, it's Darwin Wiggett, and today I want to talk to you about filter holders. And I want to compare the Lee filter holder with the Cokin Z-Pro Filter Holder. These two holders are designed to be used on full-frame cameras with wide-angle or wide-angle zoom lenses so that you don't get vignetting. The angle of view of the lens and sensor don't see the edges of the filter holder. So these are filter holders that use large filters so that you don't get vignetting. So let's just talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. We'll start with the Lee holder. Here we have a Lee holder on a 24-70, and notice that we can still put a lens cap on the holder while it's on the camera lens, and the lens cap just fits into the adapter ring of the holder. You might need to use a little bit smaller lens cap than normally designed for your lens to fit inside the adapter ring. So just play around with different lens caps till you find one that fits, and then you're good to go, which is very nice. Now, the Lee holder, the main advantage is its quick release button, and this brass button right here on the side pulls out and the filter holder just pops right off and easily puts back on. It's super elegant and a fast system, and it works really well, especially if every one of your lenses has an adapter ring already put on it, and then you can have your lens cap on, and then it's simply a matter of putting on the lens holder when you switch lenses. Of course, remember to take your lens cap off, one of the main rules of photography, right? So this is a nice system, and this is very elegant, but this simplicity also causes problems. Every time I stick my lens into my camera bag, it hits the edge of the little compartments in my camera bag, and often the filter holder falls off. Or a couple of times I've been walking in the field with my camera over my tripod. I'm walking through some trees, and this gets pulled off because it hits a branch. So although it's super fast and good to use, it also might cause problems because it falls off really easily and drives me crazy. So that's one of its weak spots and one of its highlights. The other kind of weak spot is a couple of things. First of all, you can adjust the number of filter slots using these screws, but requires a screwdriver that conveniently they give with you, but often you'll leave at home. So if you need to have less slots or more slots, often you don't have a screwdriver and it's kind of a pain in the butt. So you need a special tool for that. And the other thing is, I love to use drop-in polarizers. I use a polarizer in almost all my shots, and I like a drop-in polarizer because it fits in really fast, and if I'm swapping polarizer from lens to lens, then this is super fast. And you have to admit that that's pretty darn fast. And you can rotate the holder so the polarizer effect happens, or you can rotate the polarizer inside the filter holder. One thing you might notice right away though is that this polarizer moves up and down, and it's tight, but it still moves up and down. So if you're walking around with your camera and every footstep you take, or you're setting your camera down on your tripod and you jar it a bit, chances are that this polarizer can work its way out of the filter holder, crash to the ground, cost you $400 to replace. You're not a happy camper. A couple of photographers I know that have the Lee holder actually use little set screws that will fit into here, and they put little screws in here so that the polarizer actually won't fall out. The problem that they've also had though is when they put a grad filter in, the grad filter slides down, hits those screws, and scratches their expensive grad filter. Not too good. So I'm not real thrilled about the way a polarizer works in the Lee holder. It works, but it's not the best. So let's look at the Z-Pro holder, or if you live in America, called the Cokin Z-Pro. And it's very similar design. The main advantage you can see right away is that instead of screws or a screwdriver to take the screws out to change the number of slots, you've got these thumb screws, and you don't need special tools. Most of us have thumbs. We usually take them with us when we take pictures, so that's nice and handy. The greatest thing though is the polarizer drops in just as fast as in the Lee holder, but there's these three little plastic knobs that stick out that you can push in or out, and when you push them out, the polarizer is locked in place, and it spins very easily and fast. Or of course you can use the holder, but if you have a grad filter in place and you want to spin the polarizer without moving the holder, very fast to use. So that's pretty elegant and a lot better than the Lee holder. And also, there's no quick release on the side to catch on things. You can still take the holder off fairly quick by moving those 2 or 3, or usually just this one plastic button to pop it in and off. That's fairly quick. The main advantage for me though, is these things cost about 40% less, And so I can afford to buy one for each of my lens and then have the filter holder on every lens. And then it's very easy, of course, to pop the polarizer in and out, switch it from lens to lens. And often I'll leave a polarizer right on my lens. And rather than putting a lens cap on here, I've just made this little high-end piece of cardboard and stick it in, stick it in high-end. And it slides right in. And then I've got some protection for my lens. Of course, I can always take the polarizer out when I put my camera away and stick the lens cap in the adapter ring, and it works well. So the main advantage for me of the Cokin Z is nothing to snag on, takes up less room, thumb screws that are easy to make more filter slots or less, and the polarizer is locked in place, it can't fall out, and it's cheaper. So for me, there's no alternative, or there's no reason to use the Lee holder. The Cokin Z holder does the job that I need it to do, and it does it better. That's what I think. It's Darwin Wiggett. Happy shooting.